Congrats on another episode of Tier Maker. So in this video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Now it's still Tier Maker, but when I was little, I used to be a really, really big fan of this game called Sonic Generations, and I was replaying it, and it proved to be a really fun game. I decided to hook up my old Xbox 360 and just play a bunch of Little Me's old favorites, and this one really it shined above the rest of them. It was a really fun game. So without any further ado, I was thinking we should rank all of the levels in the game. There are nine different stages, and yeah, without any further ado, let's get started with the first level, Green Hill. This is one of my favorite interpretations of the level. Obviously, I'm definitely biased towards this game because this is like the game that I grew up playing the most. But I think this is like an amazing level to start with. It gives like a good understanding of all the mechanics of the game, and like on your first run through, there's not too many things to stop you in your tracks. Like you're going along really well, but then like once you start to like master the level, it becomes really satisfying, like just breezing through the level and then finding like higher up routes and stuff. It's just a really fun level to go through, and I constantly see myself going back to it just to like speed run it and just try and get a better time. But yeah, I think it's one of the best levels in the game, so I think I'm gonna have to give it S tier just based off of how much I've played it. Let's see. Next up, Chemical Plant. This one's a fun one. I really like the 3D sections. This one like leans a little bit harder into like teaching you that like drifting mechanic. It only really does it in the first little bit, but it definitely is like a good way to learn how to do it, and I think it's a good level. I will say the 2D sections are a little bit annoying, but I and they're not that bad. Like whenever I go through the level, I for some reason expect the 2D sections to like be a lot longer than they are, but they don't end up being that bad. So I think it's a solid second level. I'll give it B tier. Next up, oh, next up, Sky Sanctuary. This one's a fun one. It's like it has like a mystical feel. It's like you're just jumping on clouds, just really high up. It's a cool feel, and it has some really good level design. Although I will say, you definitely do feel like you got to be like a little bit more cautious because like there's a lot of bottomless pits, which makes sense because you're like insanely high in the sky. But I like this level. I think it's good. I'll give it A tier. Let's see. Next up, Speed Highway. This is another good one. It's like I don't know. This one, it is like a lot of shortcuts. Like in the beginning of the stage, like when you run down, if like as fast as you can, just get down. You can just like jump off the side and do like a homing attack onto one of the helicopters, which is like a big shortcut. And this level has like a lot of shortcuts, which I think are kind of neat. But yeah, I think it's a some pretty good level design too, so I'll give it A tier. And also, it's really satisfying in the section when you're just like running straight down the wall of the building. Let's see. Next up, City Escape, another one of my favorites. I don't know, this one I really like it. It's another one of the really fun ones to kind of try and speed run a bit. Like it really adapts like the snowboarding section good, like just like going right down the hill, and with the boost just makes it like just so much funner. And I don't know, I really like it. And then goes straight into the transition, like where you like fly into like the normal stage of like the normal stage layout, which then you can just follow it up with like a bunch of homing text, and it's just another really good level design to like just go around. Like I like how in the snowboarding section, there's nothing to really like get in your way besides the walls. So if you use your drifts right, it's just a really fun stage. So I'll give it S tier. Let's see. Next up, we have Seaside Hill. This one is I like this one. It's I really like, and there's no levels I inherently like don't like about this one, but about them. But this one is one that I don't revisit as much. It feels like in some parts a little bit annoying. Like in the section like where there's like a bunch of boost pads and you have to run over like the water. I mean it is good, but I feel like sometimes if you just are like slightly aligned wrong, then it'll just send you just right underwater. But I think like most of the other sections are pretty neat. I will say I was like little me was pretty confused when like the driving section appeared, and I'm like, whoa, dude, what is happening? But I don't know. I think it's still a solid stage. Mm, I'll give it B tier. Let's see. Next up, Crisis City. This is another one of the ones that I always remember as just being a pain, and it's just not that bad. Like it's another like solid stage. It's not like one of my absolute favorites of all time, but they really did a good job adapting it. So I'll give it B tier. All right, let's see. Next up, Rooftop Run. This is another one of the really fun ones to replay. Actually, right now, as I'm like making this video, I'm midway through like a playthrough of Sonic Unleashed. Because when Little Me started Sonic Unleashed, I was not a big fan of reading. If you know Sonic Unleashed, there's a lot of story in that game. So I went, actually, funny story. I went to like plug in, not plug in, but I went to put in my Sonic Unleashed disc, and then like the disc was just scratched, and I was like, all right, well, this sucks, but there's a game store near my house, so I went to get it fixed. But and they're like, oh yeah, we got it working, I think. And then they're like, but there's a pretty big dent in it. And we're like, all right, yeah, I'll just buy a new copy. But then we got back home, and it's a really fun game. I will say, like one of the common complaints about it is how like the homing attack is mapped to the X button instead of A, which after being really used to Sonic Generations really got me like slipping up. But I don't know. I again like while playing through Sonic Unleashed, it was really fun seeing like how they adapted the level and like how they took different chunks of like the original like and just like rearranged it and then just put it in and added a bunch of new segments. But this is another one of my favorites. I don't quite want to give it S tier, but it's almost up there. I'm giving it A tier. It's one of my favorites. Let's see, and last but kind of least is Planet Wisp. This one I really like the first section of like the big open field, and then like you're going on rails and like it's like the purple lake. It's just like it's just really aesthetically pleasing. It looks really nice, but then you get to like the industrial sections where you actually use the wisps, and it gets so long and it's drawn out, and then you have to like get on these like moving platforms, and they're kind of just a pain to navigate, and when you fall really far. So this one, it feels like you get a lot of progress and you just fall back down, and it is just not really a good time. So I'm gonna have to give it C tier. But yeah, that'll be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and sometime in the future, I do plan on doing a like playthrough of Sonic Generations. I have to figure out how to like connect a screen recorder to the Xbox 360, so that'll be something of itself. But don't expect it anytime soon. Although I definitely will try to. But yeah, that'll be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and goodbye. Bon appetit.